We talk about self-care on this show a lot, and one of the ways I'm able to better take care of myself is by finding ways to create more time, and I do that by knowing when to delegate. My assistant turned manager, Brandy, who has her own episode, by the way, it's number 53, knows all about that. The number one rule to delegating is knowing what absolutely needs to be created by you, and then knowing which things someone else might be better at, or which things someone else can do easily. And when I need something done outside of my and Brandy's scope, I use Fiverr. Fiverr.com is a super cool professional marketplace where you can find contractors all over the world to help you do the little things that you need help with, or that require a special skill set like creating podcast cover art. I use Fiverr for that all the time, and I've always been happy with the work. And each virtual professional on Fiverr also has comments and rankings so you can see who is consistently providing great work. It's a really wonderful solution to buy back some of my time and get the stuff done that I need to move forward on a project. If you're needing some more time in your schedule, I highly recommend finding ways to delegate and maybe finding your own virtual assistant, like mine was Brandy, who's now a manager, or copywriting, or maybe podcast cover art, or anything else that you might need that you should be delegating. I have my very own Fiverr link in the show notes that will take you right to it. So take a breath, click the link in the show notes, and spend that extra time for yourself. Speaking of more time and self-care, I have a freebie for you. If you're like every single other person on this planet, then you might be looking for ways to get some time back into your day that you can then spend doing whatever else is at the top of your list that you value. Maybe it's spending more time with yourself or loved ones, or maybe it's more time for that project you're waiting to begin. To be honest with you, I was struggling with this and looking for solutions. So I spent some time trying different things in my day and business, and I found some solutions that were game changers. So I broke it down into 3 easy strategies that I am sharing with you for free. Go to moretime.avanthousemedia.com and download it to your computer for free, or just click the link in the show notes to start relieving some stress and adding some more of that precious time back into your day. If you're finding yourself making excuses to not start that thing that is on your heart, like a podcast maybe, then this is calling your name. No more excuses. It's totally free, and we need your voice in this world. moretime.avanthousemedia.com, or just click the link in the show notes. For me, and maybe for many of you, December is a time to let go a little, calm the schedule, reset and renew, and find ways to get inspired and set intentions for the upcoming new year. So for the next few weeks, we'll be sharing episodes that are focused on resetting yourself, simplifying, and creating small steps towards what your next intentions are. Take this time to honor yourself and to honor what you'd like to create for yourself and the world you influence. I hope you enjoy these Begin and Be Bold collection of episodes to help you slow down and build a process to serve your creation. Enjoy. We want to feel good, and when you feel good, you are actually more productive, more geared towards reaching your goal. And that whole idea of things being really stressful and hard as a means to an end is really a fiction. I think that's kind of fictional, and it's something I believed for a very long time. But you don't have to work that way.
It all begins by understanding the mind.
I want to be happy now. I don't care about the future. I want to be happy right now.
You are not alone. You are never, ever, ever alone in this.
It's helped my voice grow and given me freedom to be creative on my own.
I'm Christina Barcy. Welcome to Be Bold, Begin, a podcast dedicated to you, the creative, the healer, and the innovator. The topics and conversations we have here are designed to help you discover what might be getting in your way and offer you tools, techniques, and guidance to move through them.
I live in the imposter's body more than I live in my own body. I don't have to feel like I don't deserve this.
This is where creativity and healing intersect.
If you decide to be bold and begin, you have the opportunity to feel humbled and empowered. I totally believe that.
I'm a certified Kaizen Muse creativity coach, a certified Reiki energy healer, and an entrepreneur, artist, and presenter. I will share with you my experiences, my proven tools and techniques that helped me and my clients and loved ones shift and expand in the areas they most desired. This is a gentle and open space where you will hear how others are being bold to encourage you to begin your own journey or expand the one you're on. This is Be Bold Begin. Hey there, creative people. Welcome back to the Be Bold Begin podcast. And today that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to show you how to begin. So first, I'm going to introduce you to the idea of Kaizen. I'm also a Kaizen Muse creativity coach, which was created by Jill Badonsky. She's amazing. So Kaizen is a methodology that isn't new, but it works really well in business, but it also works well in life, in creativity, in really anything that you're trying to engage with, like a process to turn anything that you're trying to achieve into a process is kind of a better way to phrase that. So the idea behind it is utilizing small steps to a larger goal, to put it very simply. Simple is always easier, right? So the idea is to break things down and to engage in the process, because that's eventually, you will get there. You will get to your goal and it will feel so much better. First of all, you won't feel overwhelmed. It'll be bite-sized pieces that you can handle. And you know what? If it doesn't feel good, even in that form, then you've got to make the steps even smaller. So that's something to know. And it's an experience and something that you learn about yourself as you go along. You know, and each thing that you're trying to accomplish is a little bit different. So what might feel really big and daunting and need even smaller steps for one thing, you might be able to do in slightly bigger bites of steps in another project or another venture. So you know, it's a sliding scale and it raises a lot of awareness because you have to really feel it out and you really have to know about yourself and what feels good and what does not feel good. So I know that sounds really basic, but you know what? We want to feel good. And when you feel good, you are actually more productive, more geared towards reaching your goal. And that whole idea of things being really stressful and hard as a means to an end is really a fiction. I think that's kind of fictional, and it's something I believed for a very long time, but you don't have to work that way. And Kaizen is a really beautiful reframe of how to achieve, and I love it. So whatever you're gearing up to work on, and it could be anything. It could be, I want to lose a little weight. It could be, you know, I want to add such and such regimen to my day. I want to fix, you know, how I eat. I want to eat better. I want to embark on a creative project. Maybe you're starting a podcast. And the idea is to break it down into small steps. So the exercise today, it's another listing exercise. I love lists. If you're an artist or you connect more with drawing, I do this with some of my artist type clients that I've coached in the past. If drawing feels more intuitive to you and sounds like more fun, then please go for it. You can draw instead, or you could do a mind map. And a mind map is like, when I was a kid, it was called brainstorming, where you draw a bubble and you put in an idea and then you branch off from that. And you can make that into an art piece. I have a good friend who's an art teacher, and she does mind maps and asks her students to draw a tree. And then, you know, the root of the trunk of the tree is sort of the base. And then from there, all the branches are like all the directions you can go in. I don't like that because for me, that feels overwhelming. So I know that about myself. And for me, what makes more sense is a list. But for some people, a list feels boring and not fun. So ask yourself, what feels better? when you embark on even the smallest thing, like creating a list, is it better for you to draw? Draw your ideas? Is it better for you to write them down? Is it better for you to do a mind map? So you pick your adventure as we get started. And once you make your decision, what you're going to do is you're just going to think about the thing you're trying to accomplish. And you're going to start by just writing a list or drawing whatever you want to do, whatever you chose. I'm going to say list because that's easier for me. You're going to write your list of all the steps that you might need to take to get to that goal, to get started on this project, to get started on walking towards this goal. So go ahead and do that. And when you're done doing that, sometimes that's overwhelming. So just let that overwhelm go. I know that's easier said than done, but we're going to walk into another space of breaking it down even further, which will help you let the overwhelm go a little bit if you're feeling that way. Maybe you're just feeling really excited. This can go in either direction when you do things like this. So just be aware of that as well. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Sometimes that's just the space you're in when things feel really big, and writing all the steps can feel really overwhelming. So that's okay if that's how you're feeling. It's also okay if you're like, wow, this is really exciting. I have all these great ideas and I just want to write more. That's a great space to be in as well. Both are normal. Both are options. And there may be other things you're feeling. And again, like there's no right or wrong way to approach this or how to feel when you do things like this. But to break it down even smaller and to get you started, pick one of those things, and maybe it's not one of those things. Maybe you need to break it down even smaller than the list that you have. But consider, what can I do right now? What is one of the things I can do right now? And I'd say the most optimal thing to choose would be the easiest one. What's the easiest thing that I can do right now? Is it start an email? Is it buying a domain? Is it even simpler than that? Maybe researching something on the internet or taking a course, or maybe that's too big. Maybe it's just writing another list of smaller steps. That could be your first step. And whatever you choose, whatever that thing is that you can do in the moment right now, think about that, do it, and let that be enough for today. But if you are ignited to do another step, then allow yourself permission to do that as well. So that's kind of how small steps work. That's a very introductory way to bring that into your process. But you can always come back to that. So if it's helpful to think of your next step for tomorrow or for the next thing that you want to do, you can write that down. You can number the things that you've written down already. If that's helpful, you can create a brand new list. Sometimes the first list is just a sort of mind dump. That is completely fine. That's part of it. So consider that. Consider playing with these sort of next step ideas. And if you really don't know what the next step is, then maybe that's your first small step, to go figure out what other people do. And that's a place of exploration. And be aware that that place of exploration can also sometimes feel a little overwhelming. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you just find one source that excites you, that you admire, and go, wow, look what they did. What's the one thing that they did to get started? Or maybe it's just, checking them out and seeing how their business runs or how their art was created, how they started their process, anything like that. So there's lots of things you can do. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Have an amazing creative day. Thank you for listening to Be Bold Begin. We hope that these episodes are helping inspire and empower you to take your next steps towards whatever you're thinking of creating. And if starting a podcast is what you're thinking of creating, then I would love to have you in my brand new private Facebook group, Unleash Your Podcast Niche, a podcast learning community for the aspiring podcaster who cares about creating an authentic message and making an impact with podcasting. Join us for live opportunities with me and meet other creatives like you who are at the same stage. There's a link in the show notes to join us. Happy creating.